business travel program filled with unexpected twists and turns? CLC offers flexible reservations and cancellations without a monthly fee, plus travel policy controls, 24/7 traveler support, and even centralized billing and insights, all across a large network of pre-negotiated hotels with best price guarantees. Travelers can book last-minute reservations on the go with the mobile app or by just walking in with a CLC card. CLC Lodging. Workforce travel that just works. Visit clclodging.com to sign up for free.
Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses help you make the most out of every moment. Hey Meta, text Naeem. Got us a table. This spot looks legit. Hey Meta, look and translate this for me.
It says traditional lime soup with chicken.
Hey Meta, take a photo. Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses. Learn, connect, and capture content hands-free, so you can stay in the moment. Iconic style meets cutting-edge technology with Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses.
What's going on, everybody? It's Mercedes Terrell from Bellator MMA.
Hey, this is Billy Howardell from The Perfect Circle.
Hey, I'm Adam Carolla.
Hey, this is Max from the Arkells.
Hi, this is Tina Stoll. I'm a driver in the NHRA.
Hey, this is Dallas Smith.
Hi, I'm Commander Chris Hadfield.
I'm Danny Danko. I'm the Senior Cultivation Editor for High Times Magazine.
Hey, guys, guess what? I'm Jake the Snake Robertson. You're not. Yeah, bad break for you. You're listening to the Toddcast podcast like you didn't know.
The Toddcast podcast is powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, providing complete financing and mortgage services for residential and small commercial businesses. Visit them at citywidemortgage.ca.
Now, here's your host, Todd Hancock.
You ever just felt like not getting out of bed, like legitimately? Stay in all day, do nothing, no texts, no calls, no surfing the net, just covers over your head, depressed for whatever reason. Maybe it's anxiety, anxious about something. Maybe you're doing a project at work and it's not where you want it to be. Maybe some family problems or who knows what. Life. And sometimes your mental health is tested, and mental health awareness encourages that open dialogue and acceptance of other people's needs. Often you can lean on your family and your friends to get help through those tough times in life. And maybe you can't rely on your circle, or at least it feels like you can't, and that's all right too. We're all living our lives, and day in, day out, week in, week out. Mental health starts with compassion, and I think we can all agree on that, right? My name is Todd Hancock, episode 328. Appreciate you being there, taking the time. As per what we do around here, you'll hear from 3 guests this week, and most hockey fans will know retired NHL goaltender Corey Hirsch. Played with the Stars, Capitals, Rangers, the Canucks. He is a guest this week, and if you know him at all, you'll know that he's well known for being an advocate for mental health awareness. Released his book, The Save of My Life, My Journey Out of the Dark, a couple of years back, and he gave some excellent advice when we were on Zoom with him for anyone struggling with mental illness.
First things first, go see your doctor. They've heard it all, they've seen it all, and don't be afraid to tell your doctor what's going on. Your brain's going to make you a prisoner. It's going to make you try to not get help. And because it wants you to stay sick, right? That's what your brain does. So the best thing you can do is go see your family doctor and not listen to the BS your brain is telling you. And, from there, he'll give you a referral to psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever you need to do. But ultimately the work's up to you, right? If you want to go and stay on your meds and you want to, do the mental health work and the therapy and all that stuff, yeah, then ultimately, you got to be your own savior. But, the help is there. Go see your family doctor.
Retired NHL tender Corey Hirsch, a guest this week, and big thanks to a guy named Paul. This is Dara's buddy. Dara's one of the owners of our title sponsor, Citywide Mortgage Services. So Dara had a little gathering for the Super Bowl, and once Paul found out that I had a podcast and that Dara had hooked me up, remember the interview we did with Mike Commodore from the NHL as well? If you haven't heard or watched that, by the way, on YouTube, we're now past 1,000 subscribers. Paul was like, really? That's cool, man. Let me get Corey Hirsch on your podcast, which is super rad, right? Love when guests get booked that easily. Like, believe me, some are not that easy to get on. Joining Corey is an author, geologist, environmental lawyer, and spiritual practitioner named Cheryl Leut. And what eats up most of her time these days?
Well, it's more of a series of events than
concurrent. I started out as a geologist and then went to becoming an environmental lawyer, and now I mostly write and speak and doing a little comedy.
Come on.
Yeah, I just came from a joke lab class.
Not bad, right? A retired NHL goaltender, an author, geologist, and you will hear from this week's musical guest in just a second. He is the drummer for one of Canada's best punk rock bands of all time. Coming up shortly in Stop Me If You've Heard This Before, Canadian Olympian snowboarder Mercedes Nicoll talks about being a lifelong adrenaline junkie. No doubt that is powered by our good friends at FKP MMA. Learn self-defense, build your self-esteem, get those skills that are needed to take care of yourself and your loved ones. My youngest, Levi, he's been going for a couple of times a week for the last 2.5 years, maybe close to 3, and loves it. Hell, they train UFC heavyweight Caillou Bigfoot Machado, for crying out loud. If it's good enough for him, you know what I mean? Vancouver's #1 training destination. Find out more through fkpmma.com. First, our first guest of 3, this week's musical guest, Gob drummer Gabe Mantle. As always, brought to you by the Hawkins Sound Ranch. Get over 20 years experience from people who have been there, done that. And when I was doing Seafox's Indie Night in Canada back in the day, I would play Corey, the owner's band. They would fill rooms here in Vancouver playing gigs, and now Corey has a state-of-the-art studio. Commercial sound on an indie budget. The kid gets it. Check out more through thehawkinssoundranch.com. So you've known of Gob since 1993, especially if you're from the Lower Mainland, or Langley, I guess, more specifically. That's where they formed. 30 years. 30 years. What? How did that happen? 30 years as a band. And they were huge in the late 90s. Remember, they were nominated for Best New Group at the Junos in 2000. They didn't win, but still pretty cool to get the nod. That same year, their album World According to Gob was big, and I mean big, font size, huge, underlined, italic in Vancouver. I was on air at Seafox in Vancouver at the time. Seafox is Vancouver's big rock radio station. It was right around the time that I was doing the evening show when they released that record. Then I went to the Fox's morning show. If you remember radio back then, Larry and Willie had gone to Jack FM. So the panic button was pushed at Fox. They moved me to do mornings with their current morning guy, Jeff O'Neill, and Biff Naked. That was a crazy 9 months. And Seafox played the hell out of Gob back in 2000. They were getting just as much love or just as many spins, whatever else back in that day. Certainly like Matthew Good and Sloan, on some stations, maybe even as much as Canada's darlings, the Tragically Hip. I guess what I'm driving at, my point is, it's not a stretch to call Gob one of Canada's best ever punk rock bands. And it was cool to hear Gabe talking about the bands that were played in his house as a kid and how his mom and dad were both heavily into music.
I grew up in a crazy way. My dad played every instrument, literally every single instrument. And, he had thousands of records. And so
nice.
I would just listen, go through his thing. And so again, he played every instrument, but the drums. So, it's kind of like, I almost feel like it was one of the kind of the reasons that I got into playing the drums, because I could jam with my dad.
Yeah.
And when I was little, I would jam with my dad, and then again listen to his Bob Marley records and his Rolling Stones records and his the Kinks records, and it goes on and on. Miles Davis, and those just every record that you could think of, my dad had pretty much. I mean, he wasn't into the disco, and he wasn't into so he hated ABBA.
Really.
But,
and like ABBA's one of the best songwriting bands of.
I personally love ABBA. Like I'm again, on my dad. He's not maybe that stoked that I say this, but I love ABBA. And on the other hand, my mom, she was a DJ. She was a DJ, like a professional DJ at say, essentially the gay clubs down here in Vancouver.
Wow, no kidding.
Like celebrities and at Love Affair, back in those old days, and she would also do tapes for the runway model shows, and so she brought me into the music of like kind of almost the gay type of music, or say more like like the new wave stuff, the beginnings of new wave, even before they call it new wave. So like say Duran Duran and
Pet Shop Boys and
like just those early bands that were like the DJ type bands that would be in the dance club. So I kind of got that too, but for me, it's like the bands that mattered to me when I was a little kid. It was like the Police. That was one of the big ones. The Clash, and then a little bit later on, Metallica. Like when Metallica came out and say Motorhead.
Yeah,
those bands, those are the ones that like got me like, oh, okay, yeah, I can you really can let out that rather than go beat some kid up or have a fight or whatever, you can just crank that music in your bedroom and like bounce off the wall, and that's kind of what excited me.
I would say one of my favorite memories of Gob is doing a CFOX uninvited guest with the band, where you would take the band to a listener's house. You'd set up in their living room or wherever and interview the band while they performed. The winner of the contest got to bring 20 friends or something like that. Everybody parties, of course, great times. But I'll never forget Theo from Gob. He's coming out of the winner's bathroom and he goes, "Hey, there's a huge crap in the toilet. You got to come check this out." And when everybody came over, he reaches in and grabs the quote unquote crap and takes a bite. And it's an O. Henry bar that he'd tossed into he just had flushed the toilet, chucked an O. Henry bar and took a bite in front of everybody. It's that sort of thing for me anyway, that makes Gob just a straight up, it's an endearing thing, right? With friends and followers and fans. They're just so fun. Talk with Gabe, the drummer, for close to 40 minutes. You can hear it right now at iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on Megaphone, SoundCloud as well. If you would rather watch, of course, we have a YouTube channel that you can find all of our stuff, all of our live shows as well from the Blue Light Studio that we do in East Vancouver. Everything, of course, is all at Toddcast Podcast. You've heard lots of Gob's music too, like "Oh Ellen, Give Up the Grudge," "I Hear You Callin'," in movies, in TV shows. If you're a gamer, you've heard Gob's music in a bunch of stuff as well. Certainly the NHL stuff back in 2002, 3, 4. They were in Madden NFL in 04. So does that make Gabe a big sports fan then? Is he following the Canucks' amazing season this year?
Honestly, brother, I'm going to tell you, after the great disappointment, I'll call it, the
riot of,
the riot and all that. And, I was so into it. I remember that season. I was just even before they were doing good, I'm just I'm going to watch every one. And I literally watched every game. I watched every single game, the 100 games, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we went downtown, and I was with my essentially it was an infant, almost my son, and and right before the riot, and then all that shit went down, and I was just so disappointed. And I just remember I got I used to be so into the games that when they lost, it hurt my heart. I was I got so into it that it really mattered to me. And I kind of, after that, I thought to myself, you know what? I don't want to care about a game that much. It's a game, and I'm not, I'm not making money off it. I'm not I didn't spend my whole life doing it. I mean, I'm not a hockey player, so I understand why they would feel that. But for me, I didn't want to feel or be that, connected to it. And so I kind of pulled back, and now I'm just for me, it's a fun thing. I love to watch a game, and I'm stoked that they're doing great this year, the Canucks, and I love football. I love it, to watch American football. Anyway, sorry, Canada. But down there they
Never looking at you, CFL.
Yeah, you know what? Down there they do it right.
It's good ball.
If you've ever been to a game in the NFL, you see what sports is meant to be. It's so exciting, and everyone's so into it. It's not like a Canucks game where, if they're eating shit, you can hear a pin drop. Right?
Yeah, and fans are booing
and not there. It's not like that. They're going mental, and say go to see a Seattle Seahawks game, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You're that's a great sports what do we call it? Not franchise, but whatever the NFL, a great sports thing is that the NFL and I love that. So yeah, I like sports, man. I'm not a jock but I'm not just a geek either. I'm a geek, and I like sports, and I like to play hockey, and I like to play soccer, and those are the games that I kind of grew up playing. And so yeah, I like sports.
As a lifelong resident of Vancouver, it truly is hard to not be a fan of one or more of our local teams, right? The Canucks, for me, like diehard, straight up diehard. I will be on that bandwagon until the day I die, my dying days. So just hopefully we can lift Lord Stanley's Cup once before that happens. Actually, this year's looking pretty good. Hey, like, don't you get the feeling that those boys, they could do it this year? Demko, Hughes, Miller, Pettersson just signing that 8-year contract. Talk it. I mean, it sure feels like it anyway. I took Gabe into deep waters, talking about binging Better Call Saul and Workaholics. Comic books came up: Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Archie comics. He shared the story of seeing The Police back in the day and the influence that show had on him. Gabe talked about what it's like to have a bandmate who's in 2 bands, because rhythm guitarist Tom is in Sum 41 as well, right? Of course, you'll know Gob from their ferocious, I want to underline that, ferocious run on the Vans Warped Tour. Could you even go to one of those shows without seeing Gob? I don't think so. And you'll love this story.
We were really lucky. We got to play at UBC a couple times here, and it was we were sandwiched in between. It was like Eminem,
yeah,
and it was Eminem and like Green Day, in the middle kind of thing. And
yeah,
we had some crazy times on that World Tour. I remember one time I was, to me that really sticks out. It was great here. We had crazy shows here in Vancouver, but I remember one time in Calgary, and you show up at the Warped Tour, and the way it used to be is that you didn't know the time you were on until you got there at 11 a.m.
Really?
So everyone gets it at the same time. And of course, no effects in those bands. They know they're going to be near the end of the show. But, the bands like, say, Gob, we didn't know. Like, it could be like, we could literally be on first, or we could be, on last. And so we get there, and it was the year that Green Day was on it. One of the years that Green Day was on with us, and this is in Calgary, and we get there at 11, and they're like, "You're going on last. You're going on after Green Day." And I'm just like, "Oh my god!" So I'm like,
whoa,
sweating the whole day. It's like, "Oh no, how's this going to be? Everyone's going to leave. How are we going to go on after Green Day?" And so it gets to the time, and we're kind of setting, because there used to be 2 stages right side by side.
Yeah.
Green Day's playing, and we're setting up. You're setting up on the other side at the same time as they're playing, and what happened was I'm like looking out. We're setting up, and all of a sudden, what happens is that like the whole crowd starts going Gob, 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 while Green Day was playing.
What?
They're louder than Green Day, like, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna be all right. And we went on, and you know what? Everyone stuck around, and it was just we kicked ass. I mean, back in those days, like it was a big deal. Like we would, we got to go on after Green Day, and everyone stayed. We were the headliner, and like
that is crazy.
It was crazy, man. And we would go out after, and go to the merch booth, and we'd be like, this is great. And there'd be all these people on, we would sell like $50,000 in merch. And to us, like, you can only imagine, like, that's like, say, I don't know, that feels like Taylor Swift numbers to me or something. It's just totally it's so insane. And, we came from like all ages shows where if you sold $500, you're stoked kind of thing. Right. So, to go to that, to like, playing with Green, headlining over Green Day kind of thing. And
wow.
Selling 50,000 in merch. It was like, what the hell is going on? And, it was humble beginnings. Like literally, where it's like, a 6-pack of beer and a couple pieces of pizza and a kick in the ass. And there you go, boys.
Like, happy about that. Sounds great. We'll play the show. Why not?
Exactly.
It's pretty incredible to hear how the Vans Warped Tour decided on the day's lineup, hey? Like, just show up, morning of. They will let you know when your band's going to be playing. Like, wow. Great to see Gabe. It had been years since we last spoke, and, of course, covering tons and tons of stuff with him, like gambling. We talked about Bob Marley, ABBA, the Rolling Stones. He shared a near-death driving story. We made him pick between Star Wars and Star Trek. He shared a great story about playing a song with Sloan at the Kelowna Regatta. And if you've ever been to the Kelowna Regatta, it's canceled now, but back in the day, it was mental party. We talked about hologram tours. And when I asked Gabe if he believed in Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or aliens, listen to how he responded.
Oh my God, I can't believe you're asking me that. Okay, so when I was a kid and I was touring with this band called Taste, which was kind of like, we were like, I don't even know what we were. It was kind of like an Alice in Chains almost sounding. It was in those days, and then kind of like the Nirvana Alice in Chains days.
Okay.
And we were driving to a show. I think we were playing with Age of Electric, actually. We were on a Age of Electric. And
love Todd Kearns.
Yeah.
What have you?
Love the brothers. Love both sets of brothers. And those guys are amazing musicians and actually, role models for any, I think, rock musician from Canada from those days. Like those guys, kind of showed us in a way how to do it. Like,
totally.
They did the transition from the cover band to a real band, and they did in a great way. That I was like, I could respect. And anyways, we were on tour with them, and we were driving to Calgary from here, and it was between Revelstoke and Golden at about 4 a.m. or something like that. And we pulled over to take a piss, and we're just in the middle of nowhere. And my buddy's like, he went one way to pee, and I went the other way. And okay, so I'm peeing, and he's like, Dave, come over here. You got it. I'm like, dude, I'm like this. I'm tired. I'm about to sleep. I'm like, dude, what? I was like kind of annoyed. He's like, you got to come over here. So I like turn around. I'm like, what the fuck? And up on the mountain, probably like maybe a couple kilometers away, there was a UFO. Up there, and it was like literally like it was moving like a UFO does, like in the movies, in like the 40s movies, kind of doing this, and it looked about like that big to me, and we're like looking, and then you could see like what looked like shooting stars coming in and out of it, like it would like shoot that way, and so I kind of like thought it must be like. They're sending out kind of like probes or something to kind of, in and out, or like they're sending out a thing to go take a sample or something. I don't know what the hell it was. And this was way before there was any, like, there was nothing like this. There's no way that this was just like an American thing. This was definitely, I mean, I don't know, alien, but something. And so we started we started walking up the road towards it, because if we walk back, west on the highway number 1, you would get closer to it. So we start we're all excited. We start running towards it, and then all of a sudden it looked like it came closer. And me and my buddy Trevor, you could like sense the alienness of it. Like it was like literally like a spider with brains in this thing. You could feel, and we just went from like awe to fear, like you've never felt like the most intense fear. And we turned and ran, and we burned it. But the whole night after that, I was like, I couldn't sleep. I was like looking out the goddamn window, and I mean, I don't know. I never saw an alien, but I saw something.
Wow. Dude, that's a great story.
And you know what? I remember calling my friends back in Nelson and back here in Vancouver and telling them, and they all believed me. But other of my friends are like, yeah. But I don't know. I'm telling you, this is not. Why would I make it up? I mean, you just sound like you're like losing your mind even to say a story like this.
Toddcast Podcast musical guest visits are powered by the Hawkins Sound Ranch. Use their 20-plus years of experience to record at their state-of-the-art studio. Commercial sound on an indie budget. Visit thehawkinssoundranch.com for more.
Headlights, take all the time you need to stay the night. We're more than just a dream, we know the lines. That old familiar scene, compromised on everything. You had my heart unfolded, I was a shoulder for your head. Splash of cold water wakes me from this empty bed. Now I'm stuck composing a tune to keep you close in. All the words I never said, in my head is spinning. Is it love or killing? I can't forget the feeling. And wake me up. I can't wake up. Cold as sin, but love to lie and hide behind a kiss or through the night. Well, the truth is on your lips. You had my heart unfolded, I was a shoulder for your head. Splash of cold water wakes me from this empty bed. Now I'm stuck composing a tune to keep you close in. With all the words I never said, in my head is spinning. Love or killing? I can't forget the feeling. Oh, and wake me up. I can't wake up.
And now, stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
The first time you saw Canadian Olympic snowboarder Mercedes Nicoll on the world stage was at the World Cup in December 99. It was in Whistler, halfpipe, and the snowboard cross. A few years later, in 2002, she won the bronze at the World Cup. In total, Mercedes has won 8 World Cup medals, is a 5-time Canadian national champion, was named to Canada's Olympic team for a 4th time in 2018. Mercedes has a great little podcast as well called Droppin' In. Super conversational, always good guests, great questions, has really nice flow. And when Mercedes was a guest, she talked about binge watching The Crown and The Mandalorian, seeing Nickelback at a bowling alley in Whistler back in the day. She talked about Meatloaf's Bat Outta Hell album, her social media presence. We got into legalized marijuana and superpowers, her first time on the World Cup podium, and you won't believe what happened. And stop me if you've heard this before. Mercedes talked about always being an adrenaline junkie and then some.
For sure. And I'm very competitive.
Love it. Still, even present day. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Like, you want to play, like, a game or cards?
Yeah.
Or tennis or any sports, I'm very competitive.
It's on. It's on. I love it.
Stop Me If You've Heard This Before on the Toddcast podcast is powered by FKP MMA, Vancouver's #1 training destination at fkpmma.com. And now, highlighting our next Blue Light Sessions, powered in part by Canadian Club Whiskey. Meet your new cold one. We serve Canadian Club and Ginger ready-to-drink cocktails at all of our live shows. Visit CanadianClub.com today.
It just don't fit in this whole wide world. Looks like a finger pointing at me. Might as well be raping the whole wide world. Girls, don't fucking touch me. This is our body. It's ours, not yours. Don't touch what you cannot adore. Ooh, you want me? Ooh, you want me? Oh, I grab it 'cause it's already mine. Ooh, you want me? Ooh, you want me? Oh, I grab it 'cause it's already mine. Ooh, you want me? Ooh, you want me? Oh, I grab it 'cause it's already mine. Ooh, you want me? Ooh, you want me? Oh, it's already mine. Oh, it's already mine. It's mine, not yours anymore. It's mine. Don't fucking touch me. This is our body. It's ours, not yours. Don't touch what you You grab it again, and then we have to explain that it's not fucking yours. Oh, you grab it again, and then we have to explain that it's not fucking yours. Oh, you grab it again, and then we have to explain that it's not fucking
Did you get that feeling that Kat Madden is absolutely going to bring it at our next live show? So that's a new song for her. It's called Don't Touch Me, and a very good chance that you will see that one live at our show with her a month from today, in fact, on Friday, April 26th at the Blue Light Studio, East Vancouver. It's the Toddcast Podcast, Blue Light Sessions. Not only Kat Madden, but Summer's brother will also be there. Both bands get a 45-minute set with an interview and the performance, maybe 15, 20 minutes of interview. You get to ask questions as well. Intimate, interactive. If you buy early, save $5 through eventbrite.ca. Eventbrite. eventbrite.ca. $20. Search out Toddcast Podcast. You can't miss the shows. $25. You want to gamble? Come on, somebody blow on these dice. Gamble and wait for the door. It's $25. All right. Doors are at 7. Show starts at 8, 8:15. no later than 8:30. Played you Bad Money, and that was their new song called Head is Spinning, and they played a show with us just a few months back now. They were outstanding. They were, in fact, after that show, invited to play with Broken Love and Royal Tusk just a few weeks back at the Pearl, downtown Vancouver. Keep an eye on Bad Money. Those guys are going places. So coming up in just a few minutes, listen to this. The Dead Daisy singer John Corabi shares a near-death story involving a gun in his face and mouth and beyond. That is powered by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley. RV service and repairs, ICBC accredited. 8-year sponsor. Absolutely key in why we've been able to continue to create podcasts over the years, especially over COVID. I mean, we lost a lot of sponsors, understandably, I suppose. So TedcoRVSupplies.com is their website. You can find them on Facebook and Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies. First, the second of 3 Toddcast guests this week is our sporting guest, retired NHL goaltender Corey Hirsch. That is powered by Hand Over Hand Textiles in Vancouver. Naturally dyed goods for your home, for your body. We're talking shirts and scarves and dishcloths and socks and pillowcases and bandanas and pretty much whatever you want them to make, they'll do it. And it's all made by hand. You'll love their work. Top notch. Pure plant extracts, natural fibers. Mom Earth gives them a big old thumbs up. Locally owned, locally operated. Check. Find them through handoverhandtextiles.com. They're also kicking around on Instagram. So Corey Hirsch, of course, has made a mark both on and off the ice. At the start of this podcast, we quickly talked and played a clip of him talking about what you should do if you're struggling with mental illness. He's well known for being an advocate for mental health awareness. You can read all about that in his book, The Save of My Life, sharing his own struggles and pushing for the destigmatization. His bravery has no doubt inspired others to also seek help. But to hockey, Corey played in the NHL from 95 through 2002. Again, with the Rangers, the Stars, the Capitals, the Canucks. Finished his career with a 2.93 goals against, an .899 save percentage. Not bad. And as a Vancouver Canuck, you'll love his quick reflexes, his exceptional skill. And when we jumped on a Zoom, Corey talked about growing up in Calgary, playing hockey as a little kid, winning the WHL's Memorial Cup, winning Olympic silver at the 94 Olympics in Norway, and he shared his first hockey memory too.
My first hockey memory is probably, they used to give you goalie equipment. They used to give the kids you didn't have to go buy it because everyone would try it, right? And so my first hockey memory is my dad taking me to practice, and they had goalie equipment in the corner. And I was so I couldn't. I think I was like 6 or 7 years old. I wasn't going to ask the coach. I didn't have the cojones to do that, right? I mean, but my dad was like, "No, you want to be the goalie? You go tell the coach. You tell the coach you want that stuff." So sure enough, I walked over there and grabbed the goalie equipment, and I never looked back. So that's probably my best memory of when I was just a little guy. That's probably my first memory of hockey.
Gotta love that, right? Hey, if you want to play goalie, bud, you got to go tell the coach. You got to go talk to him yourself. The full 30 minutes with Corey is up now on our socials, all at Toddcast Podcast, wherever you listen. Of course, you can watch the interview at our YouTube channel as well. We talked about, of course, writing his book and the steps that were needed to make that happen. He talked about the hockey cities with the best food. We got him talking about binging the World Series of Poker. Superstitions came up. So did Kiss and Prince. And you'll love this. He shared his first concert story.
Oh, I love this question. My mom took me to Tina Turner, Beyond Thunderdome. Okay. So I saw Tina, and then 2 nights later, I went and saw Kiss with my brother, no makeup. They had taken their makeup off. So I said, that's that. I saw Kiss. And then I saw Kiss on their last world tour in 1996. And then I saw them on the End of the Road tour in 2006. And then I saw them again in 2004. They just kept saying they were retiring. And they just don't.
Yeah.
They like, just don't. Yeah.
Well, didn't they like wrap shit up now? And like, there's like avatars or something like, it's like, what's going on, guys? Come on.
They're coming back. They are.
They're coming back.
Best concert I ever went to was Prince, though. Prince. Yeah. It was a GM place back then. I didn't want to go. And my buddy had tickets. He used to do all the negotiating for the concerts for, it was GM Place at the time. And I was like, Prince, he was a symbol. Remember, he changed his name to this. And I was like,
right. The artist formerly known as.
That's just the stupid. I don't want to go see this guy. And I went anyways. And my chin was on the floor the whole time and how talented he was. It was ridiculous.
Crushing show.
Oh, it was ridiculous. It was played every instrument better than anybody you've ever heard. The drum, piano, guitar, whatever it was.
He's that annoying musician, if you also players like, fuck, this guy plays everything and like better than everybody.
Yeah. And you can never be that good, right? Like you can never be that level.
And talk about setting the bar, like Tina Turner, no doubt, an energetic, punchy show, simply one of the best. And then seeing Kiss and one of the all-time bests, of course, like Corey realizing jaw to the ground, watching Prince slay everyone at Rogers Arena or GM Place back in the day. I managed to touch on a lot of stuff with Corey too, like growing up to the music of Elvis. We talked about near-death stories. He shared one about his time over in Romania. We talked about superpowers when he realized his true potential. And Corey shared an interesting career highlight.
One career highlight. I can probably one career highlight. It's got to be the Forsberg goal. It's got to be, because it, even though it was a goal against me, it's still relevant in history today. They call it the Forsberg, right? It gave me a household name. It gave me the ability to do what I do today, right? Which is talk about mental health. So I would have to say that's probably, the greatest moment in sports history for me. Even though it was a goal against me, I'd have to say that's probably it. That, what else?
Where would you put Forsberg, by the way, and like, the guys you played against? He's top 10 easy, hey?
He's like with the guys I played against. Well, I played against a lot, Mario, Gretzky, all those guys. But he was definitely a worthy of a Hall of Fame. He was a lot tougher than people think.
I just remember, like at that time in like the mid '90s when you were with the Canucks and like the Avalanche would just fucking tear through us like it was hot knife through butter. Like they were just decimating us.
Yeah,
Deadmarsh and Sakic and like Adam Foote and all those guys, like they just were killers, man.
They had a guy named Hayduk.
Milan Hayduk.
Yeah, that was a really good player. They had Claude Lemieux, they had Sakic, they had Deadmarsh, they had on the back end they had Ozelinch, and then they had Patrick Waugh in net. Right. And we all when the day Patrick got traded, we were all like, "This was the only thing that Colorado was missing was a goalie." That was it. And once Patrick got traded, the rest of the league was fighting for second place.
The Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca.
just get involved with others, no. And if you take me for granted, don't be surprised if I don't stay. If you don't reach out to stop me, you'll see me walk away. I'll leave you I'll leave you I'll leave you
And now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
Singer John Corabi has had an incredible career that still to this day rolls along. Back in the day, you heard him in The Scream, Union, the Eric Singer Project. He was a guitarist in Rat for a hot minute. He was in Motley Crue, of course, for arguably their best album, their self-titled album. He was in Brides of Destruction with Nikki Sixx. He was in Cardboard Vampires with Alice in Chains' Jerry Cantrell. Present day, he's the singer for the supergroup The Dead Daisies. And when John was a guest, he talked about rock documentaries, his first concert seeing BTO and Bob Seger together. He talked about how he joined Motley Crue and was stabbed within a week of joining the band. He talked about legalized marijuana, the music that he grew up around. We talked about Thor, Iron Man, and superpowers. He shared his thoughts on Axl Rose singing for AC/DC. We talked about the shows that he was binge watching, like Narcos and Vikings. And John shared a near-death story where he had a gun in his mouth. Listen to this.
I actually had a guy. It's funny, my ex-wife still won't forgive me for this one. But this was just prior to me being I was in LA. I think I just got in Motley, or it was just prior to me being in Motley. And a guy tried to hold me up, like tried to rob me at a club, behind the club. A club in North Hollywood called the FM station.
Like a gun holding you up?
Well, at first, he was just, he's like, give me your wallet. And I'm like, what? I go, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? We're just going back and forth. And he was getting mouthy with me, and I was getting mouthy back. And my wife was standing there, and he said he was security for the club. I basically said, go check with the club and make sure this dipshit works for the club, whatever. And she walked away, and as she started walking away, he goes, I didn't tell you could move, bitch. Oh. And I fucking lost it. And I go, listen, is she a bitch? Yes, but she's my bitch. You don't get to call her bitch. That's my, you know what I mean? And and he pulled a gun, and he stuck it in my face.
Wow.
And at that point, like, everything went, oh, and just slowed down.
I know, it's incredible, like those situations, like, it literally time just like tick.
Dude, it seemed like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But I did the dumbest thing. I don't know if it was dumb or if it was genius, but I literally, he had it like right at my face. And my like, now I laugh about it, but I literally opened my mouth and I stuck my mouth on the end of the gun.
Wow, Joe.
And he just looked at me like puzzled. And I took the gun out of my mouth and I said, see that dude, that bitch, that's my wife. You'd be doing me a fucking favor. Pull the trigger. And I put my mouth back on the gun again. And he just started laughing and walked away.
Listen to This on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC-approved repair shop. Visit them on Facebook and Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies.
Red Truck Beer, delivered fresh, the official beer of the Toddcast podcast.
So if she runs away, well then I better chase after her. I'm never pushing anything. She's trying to pull me back for more. Caught up in the moment, I'm just keeping my cool. I'm a sucker for love, girl. Yeah, you know I'm your fool. So go ahead and push, pull baby, I am. Together forever. Yeah, that's the plan. Build something from nothing. That's what we could do. Buckle up for the speed bumps. Baby, we'll make it through. Oh yeah, those good times, bad times, anything in between. The ups and downs, and baby, you're still my queen. Oh, nobody's perfect, just tell me what to do. The plan was to grow old together, me and you. So if she runs away, well then I better chase after her. I'm never pushing anything, she's trying to pull me back for more. Caught up in the moment, I'm just keeping my cool. I'm a sucker for love, girl. Yeah, you know I'm your fool. So go ahead and push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. You know I'm your fool. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, yeah. 'Cause I need you, baby, more than you'll ever know. Oh, we've both been through changes, yeah, together we've grown. Look ahead to the future and what we could be. Build a castle together, baby, you wait and see. So if she runs away, well then I better chase after her. I'm never pushing anything, she's trying to pull me back for more. Caught up in the moment, I'm just keeping my cool. I'm a sucker for love, girl. Yeah, you know I'm your fool. So go ahead and push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. You know I'm your fool. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, yeah. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. You know I'm your fool. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, yeah.
There's brand new music for Christopher James. It's called, if you hadn't picked it up, Push Pull. He's part of our live show in early May, just over a week from now, on Friday, May 3, at the Blue Light Studio in East Vancouver. So it's the Toddcast Podcast, Blue Light Sessions. Joan Bessie and Christopher James. I hope you can make it out. Can't wait for both of their sets. I've loved these guys, both of them from the get-go. You heard Spendo, and that was their song called Fighter. Maybe you caught the same thing I did on their Facebook page. They are currently in studio working on new music, which is great news. Really looking forward to seeing what they've got up their sleeves right now. I think easily one of Vancouver's best up-and-coming bands. Certainly a front runner of best live show as well. Holy hell. Can those boys play? If you hear of Spendo playing anywhere near you, make the effort to be there. Believe me, you will not be disappointed. Speaking of live music, find a small list of local shows that are happening in Vancouver and the area with the indie scene. That's through toddhancock.ca. If you're playing a show or if you're going to check it out, if it's indie, let me know about it. I will get it up at the website, some free advertising for the show. Why not, right? Maybe play a song on the podcast as well, but you do have to get me your band's music. I would love to hear what you're doing. Okay, so let's get to the final guest of this episode 328, author and geologist Cheryl Leut, this week's entertainment and lifestyle guest, powered for one last week by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. They have been sponsoring us for the last 2.5 years. It's a real shame, honestly, to see them leave, but we get it. They're allocating marketing money in other areas, but big thanks to Chris at Sacred Meds for the support that he's shown over the years. A solid guy and a great website too. A reminder, they will ship anywhere in Canada, oils, hash, all kinds of edibles, peyote, vapes, lollipop, shatter, and a whole bunch more. A hearty thank you and an unfortunate adios to sacredmeds.com. So I got an email about a couple of weeks back asking if I wanted to interview an author, geologist, environmental lawyer, and spiritual practitioner named Cheryl Leut. And I thought, what an interesting career path, and I wanted to know more, and I thought that you might be into that as well. So do a little bit of digging, and you'll see that Cheryl is super eco-conscious, dedicated to environmental advocacy, and wants to inspire you to embrace sustainable living, to connect with nature, and think about your relationship with our planet. She's written a couple books. One's called Silent Soliloquy. The other, her latest, is called Love Earth Now.
Well, it started out as therapy, frankly, because I'm a big fan of Earth, and I have come at it from a lot of different perspectives, from geology to the environmental law, and nothing really quite satisfied my desire to figure out what we should be doing to take care of this planet that we don't seem to be doing a very good job of, and how to go about that. And so I started really journaling and telling my own stories to myself, and then sharing them with a few people. And so my book is really a collection of my own stories trying to figure this out.
Could you imagine trying to sit down and write a book and find the time to actually set it aside? Like, I don't know that I have the time as a dad, a podcaster, working at BCIT, 2 kids, a wife. Like, I don't know. The full talk with Cheryl is now posted online. It's close to 20 minutes long. You can hear it on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Megaphone, SoundCloud. See the interview at our YouTube channel. Talked about a lot of stuff with Cheryl, like how she recently binged Northern Exposure. Remember that show? Like late 80s, early 90s, small town Canada. We talked about getting out in nature and how COVID affected the world in that regard. She talked about what it was like growing up in Kansas City, Missouri, and the fact that we, as humans, are not doing enough about environmental concerns.
Well, the 2-3 things, that's what irritates me the most, is when people try to distill it down into a top 10 list. Here's the things everyone should be doing. If we all just changed our light bulbs, everything would be fine. And I just don't think it's that simple. And I think it misses the mark, in the sense that I believe we all come here with our own gifts and abilities, and also our own marching orders and what we're here to do. And telling people to change light bulbs really misses, the opportunity for people to explore what is mine to do, what am I here to do, and it may have nothing to do with light bulbs.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, I think that's, if you think back to like the 70s and the 80s, like when I was a little kid and my mom and stuff, and there was no recycling. Like we just didn't recycle. So like, I think we're aware of what we should be doing, but maybe it's just falling on deaf ears. Do you think that's fair to say? In part, I would say that's fair to say, but it's also really complicated. And so there's no perfect solutions, even driving an electric car, they use a lot of rare earth minerals, and mining rare earth minerals is a messy, awful business, and it creates a lot of pollution itself. And plus we have to create the electricity, and how is that done? And so there are no perfect answers. And so my goal is to be reflective and consider what I can do, and feel really good about what I can do, and do that with all I've got. And then I've got to let everything else go, because I can't. I've tried solving the world's problems, and I'm just not up to it.
It's true. I think that most of us could probably do more for the environment. Awareness, though, certainly is a great starting point. As we always do, we went further than what our guests are known for. Cheryl shared a scary story about being diagnosed with cancer. We talked about electric vehicles, escapism, and detective novels came up, and the music that was in her house as a kid growing up, and her first concert story.
My parents listened to some pretty cool music. They were really young when I was born, so they were still listening to rock and roll, and a lot of Neil Diamond, I recall, and of course Al Hirt and the Tijuana Brass. That was big. Kenny Rogers and the First Edition. My first concert was with my parents going to see Sonny and Cher.
Okay, I was going to ask you at first concert. And what do you remember about that night or that day or whatever?
Yeah. So music was a big part. I mean, I remember music being played in my house growing up. Of course, that was before there was TV 24/7 and podcasts and all the other media.
And everybody with their face in their phones.
Right, and their earbuds, listening to their own music.
It's a really weird time, especially considering growing up the way that we did. I would imagine we're probably similar in age.
Mm-hmm.
and to not have anything, to suddenly having everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know who had it better.
Yeah. Maybe somewhere in the middle would be nice, but we don't ever seem to get that.
Yeah. What do you, I want to back to your first concert. What do you remember specifically about that show with Sonny and Cher?
I just remember thinking her hair was really long. I was young. I don't remember how young I was, but I was really young.
Yeah.
And another, maybe that wasn't the first. I remember going to the outdoor theater with my grandfather to see the guy who played Gomer Pyle. What was his name?
Oh, golly.
Yeah.
That guy?
He was singing, and that was my first experience hearing a person sing live in person, and I just thought that he was the best singer on the planet. I went home and told my parents to buy all his records. Like, I don't know if he has any.
Entertainment guest visits are powered by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. Visit sacredmeds.com.
our Summers Brother, and their leadoff single called Misinformation. A month from today, they're opening up for Cat Madden at our next Blue Light sessions. So Friday, April 26th at the Blue Light Studio, East Vancouver. 45-minute sets each with the interview, with the performance. It's intimate, it's interactive. You get to ask questions and tell the bands to play songs, and hopefully they will. Grab a ticket right now, save $5, and make sure you get into the show, because you never know. You roll the dice, it's $25 at the door. Maybe tickets are gone. Eventbrite.ca, eventbrite.ca for all podcast shows. Show starts at about 8:15, something like that. Looking forward to next week. We are into our 10th season podcasting, so we'll take a look, take you back over the years and highlights from some golden moments like Godsmack singer Sully Erna, Joe Satriani, UFC fighter Aljamain the Funkmaster Sterling, NHRA drag racer Alexis DeJuria, the Trailer Park Boys, and actor Kim Coates.
Well, I don't know if it was called Starstruck, but it certainly was meeting a star. I'm not sure I've been starstruck, but I'll never forget meeting Bruce Willis. You know, it was my first big film, Last Boy Scout.
Great show.
Yeah, thanks. 1991 or 92, something like that. And I didn't know protocol. I didn't know what was expected, sort of. My first big film is in, L.A., and I remember getting to set, and of course, when you're the star, you're the last one to come to set, and depending on when you do come to set, it could be hours later, minutes later, whatever. But when Bruce walked on that set for the first time to meet him, he was a movie star. He is a movie star. And there's something that goes without saying, and since that time I've worked with many movie stars, and Kevin Costner is a really good friend of mine. I enjoy all of them. I don't think I've ever had a bad experience with a movie star, because if you're a movie star, you know where you've come from, and you know what it takes to get there, and don't be a dick. And it's been a great learning experience for me.
Not to be presumptuous, but you're going to love our next podcast as we go back over the years with 12 guests and highlights from their interviews. Of course, big thanks to this week's guests as well. Gob drummer Gabe Mantle. It's so great to see your smiling face on Zoom. Looking forward to the show that we're going to do with your other band, Another Joe, this summer. So we'll see you then. We'll crush a few. Retired NHL goaltender Corey Hirsch. Thank you for all that you do with mental health awareness. And thanks for the years of Canucks hockey. Like, super cool to have you as a guest, being a lifetime fan of the team. And author, geologist Cheryl Leut. What an interesting life that you've led. Thank you so much for taking some time to jump a Zoom with us. And congrats on your new book, Love Earth Now. And that is going to wrap up this week, episode 328. Once again, my name is Todd Hancock. Thank you so much for being there, for listening. If you like what you heard, please do tell your friends about us and what we're doing. We are part of the Realm.fm network, Realm.fm. Check them out. They've got a lot of really cool podcasts, both nonfiction and fiction. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Megaphone, SoundCloud. Of course, the videos and all of our live stuff through Blue Light Studio, through YouTube. Comment and rate the podcast. That helps out big time. Search out through Toddcast Podcast. Huge thanks to all of our excellent sponsors. If your mortgage, like mine, is coming up for renewal pretty quick here, talk to our title sponsor, Citywide Mortgage Services, and they will dial you up. Mine is coming up in January of next year, so I'll be talking with Dara at Citywide probably in the summertime, working on a plan that won't financially drop me to my knees. Canada's interest rate is supposed to slowly drop over the next couple of years. So hopefully that happens. But Citywide Mortgage Services will be able to help out. They'll make it as easy as possible for you. You can find links to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast with your business, did you know you can for as little as $10 a day, right? Contact info at the homepage. Maybe we'll have a beer, have a coffee, see what's up. And don't forget about this. If you help us find a sponsor, we will give you a commission. Yes, a commission. Little side scratch. Your move, Joe Rogan. Till next time, don't be an asshole, because nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard, and most of all, believe in yourself.
You've been listening to the Toddcast podcast, powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, dedicated to helping you find the best mortgage rates. Available 7 days a week at citywidemortgage.ca.
Talmor, Sheshin Marachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Burntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I uncover the blasphemous truth of a plague-ridden world, that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Burntwine, coming January 2nd, wherever podcasts are available.